are streaming this, they probably can't show us the other stuff. Flying blind.
Ultiworld's live streaming coverage of the USA Ultimate Division I College Championships is presented by Breakmark. Visit them on the web at breakmark.com.
The USA Ultimate Division I College Championships, where dynasties are built, legends are written, and legacies secured. Over 500 teams began this journey, but there will be only 2 left standing as champions.
Wisconsin, and the sun is shining, and that is the biggest news that we can share right off the bat. Good morning and welcome to Ultiworld's live coverage from the Redden Soccer Park after yesterday was wiped out due to multiple lightning delays. We only completed 16 games. Today there are 64 pool play games on the schedule, and we begin in the showcase field with the 3-seed Carleton Syzygy and the 6-seed Stanford Superfly. Carleton did not get to take the field yesterday. Stanford is 1-0 in Pool C. Good morning and welcome. Evan Lepler with Kelsey Percy. Before we get to today, yesterday was just a day of waiting for all these teams, and now Stanford has 3 games today. Carleton has 4. It's going to be a wild day here in Madison.
Absolutely wild day. Yesterday was such a challenge for teams fighting not only through the weather, wind, lots of moisture, lots of slip discs, but the energy, having to fight to get their energy back up to a competitive level after multiple stoppages, having to lead the fields, get warmed up. Quite frankly, thankful we had so few injuries.
So Stanford won 15-7 against Penn in their game that was interrupted multiple times. Esther Filipek is the Superfly star. She had 5 assists in the game. It was a game that looks like a blow-up, but it was 6-6, a slow start for Superfly, but then they got going in the second half.
Yeah, 8-6 at half, and talking to the coaches from Stanford, they really felt like it was a team effort. The team was there. They were focused. They were able to just pull together and get back to their game. Whereas previously they just were feeling the jitters of nationals in that first game.
Throughout the season, Esther Filipek has been the backbone of this Superfly team. She is very aggressive with her throws, and she can really find the end zone from anywhere. That was against Vermont earlier in the season. Meanwhile, Carleton is incredibly deep. They have the distinction of being the team that first knocked off North Carolina to end Pleiades' historic multi-year winning streak. And Carleton enters as the 3 seed. They were just waiting around all day yesterday. Coach Logan Weiss said it was like his day at the airport, just kept getting longer, delay. But they arrive for a historic and unprecedented 4-game Saturday at College Nationals. And he said he likes their depth. He feels that with Naomi Fina leading the way, the Seattle native, one of many Seattle standouts that have matriculated to Northfield, Minnesota, that Carleton is ready to go.
Yeah, I was really impressed and interested to hear that the depth that he feels the team has in such a way that they're not really going to change their strategy for today. 4 days, 4 games, they don't think it's going to be too much of a burden. They're going to play business as usual, rotate lines as usual, full confidence in their team to be able to pull it out. But it does change the importance on some of the games that they're going to play.
Saturday here in Madison is underway. Carleton gets a layout immediately from Naomi Fina. Syzygy in their whites, Superfly in their darks. Carleton 22-4 in their regular season leading up to nationals, and a turnover as Stanford gets the interception in the end zone, picked off by Kiana Hu. So an early break chance for Superfly. Deep shot on the brink of the end zone. And that's a Stanford score. Sage McGinley-Smith to Nicole Lambert. And a break for Superfly to get Saturday underway.
That's a great way for them to start the game. Just that good heads-up D, but the quick transition, immediately going on the counterattack, quickly moving it out of their own end zone, just being relentless. That's such a blow to an opposing offense when you don't even get a chance to really earn it back, when you're able to score so quickly. Really good adjustment on that disc for McGinley-Smith. And high energy, a lot of momentum for Stanford right here with that first break.
Well, Nicole Lambert has been out much of the season. They call her Arrow. Her first point on the field yesterday, she had 2 hand blocks. So a heck of a return for Lambert. And then McGinley-Smith. I mean, if you watch Nationals last year, you know how close she was, or how great she was in the Colorado game as they came so close to beating Quandary in pool play, former high school hockey star in Vermont. So 1-0 lead, an early break. This is day 2 of the tournament, but it's just .2 for Carleton. They were one of 4 teams in each of the 2 divisions that were unable to take the field yesterday. Chagall Gelfand is a name that you need to know. Freshman launching, and it's deflected but caught anyway. Shanti Shire in the reset off Kishner's hands to the turf.
I like Kishner's move to automatically go for help defense, but then the quick adjustment back. With these unforced errors, Carleton's really going to need to be heads up and focus on getting the disc back. They can't let Stanford get too much momentum going into this first half.
Philippek just a little too far, looking for Davy Weir near the sideline. First turnover for Stanford. Gelfand rips another big forehand. This one to the end zone, and this one is a score.
That was a beautiful shot.
Opal Burris with the equalizer, 1-0.
Gelfand really feels like part of the key that's going to unlock this, just the ability to stretch the field and have Stanford have to adjust and guard against that deep game really opens up the inner space. It feels simple, but at the same time, the execution of it makes everything else flow so much more smoothly.
You might say that Chagall Gelfand has checked every box of competitive ultimate so far in her career. You know, from Seattle, Junior Worlds, been playing since she was young, Riot practice player, really talented. And finally, she gets to make her debut at College Nationals on day 2 of the tournament. You think about it, Kelsey, the typical round at College Nationals in pool play usually has 8 games going on, 4 in each division. So it's like very manageable to try to follow along with everything going on in the complex. Good luck maintaining your focus on 14 games going on right now, all spread out across the Redden Soccer Park here in Madison.
Well, and not only that, with a couple of the fields effectively drowned out, underwater, having to move across the road to what are essentially practice fields, still high quality. Like, let me say the ability of the fields to absorb the water, really fantastic, considering the amount of rain that we did get. But yeah, it makes it difficult to even get to the teams to see what's going on.
First O point for Superfly.
Good pressure from Carleton on all these unders. They are staying right in the back hip pocket of all these Stanford players. No easy gainers for Stanford right now.
And yet Superfly maintaining possession nicely. Their Callahan nominee, Macy Volbrecht, little too tall for Jolene Lee, and an opportunity for Carleton to get back even in the break department.
The bump to Tori Gray gave her power position, but no one was going yet. A little bit too far ahead of the play.
Tori Gray, crossfield hammer. What a catch by Gelfand. She has the assist, and Carleton has the break.
Carleton right back in it. That hammer. We talked about keys and unlocking the field from Gelfand with the length of that flick huck, but the hammer across, you don't see as many of those in women's ultimate, and you definitely don't see them with the confidence. Tori Gray, the point, exactly. And then the one-handed snag from Gelfand. So smooth and calm, delivering into the end zone. This is a dangerous Carleton team.
Audrey Parrott, the easy catch from Gelfand, who picks up her second assist.
Tori Gray getting some time in the PUL as well, playing for Minnesota Strike. Having talked to the coaches there, she has a permanent green light on their D-line. They want her to take shots. They want her to mix things up. They want her on the quick attack. I asked Coach Courtney Kiso if Tori Gray had the same green light for Carleton. She chuckled and kind of declined to give specifics. But they do have utter confidence in Tori leading counterattacks for this team. They like having her on that D-line, having that engine and speed, and then the sureness of her throws on the other side.
Courtney Kiso, former Callahan winner, 2008, the University of Wisconsin here in Madison. She's been coaching Syzygy with Logan Weiss for quite a while now. They make a good team. Big huck launched by McCotter Hewlett, and into a crowd, falls incomplete.
Hawkins got fingers on it, but couldn't quite pull it in. That was an aggressive edge.
Opportunity for Volbrecht there to pull the trigger on a bid near the goal line. Didn't do it, but it's a quick turnover the other way. Stanford picking up Anna Fisher-Lopez. directing traffic. Swings to Volbrecht. And here's Philippek. High release, lefty backhand for the score.
Yeah, Parrott had that matchup. I really liked Stanford's short field, not quite a red zone set, but their short field set where they opened up the middle of the field, were very disciplined about clearing out to the side and letting that gainer come through, and then that left them with the foresight to cut into, making that progression really easy. The confidence throw for the finish in the goal, though, that touch over the top. A lot of skill throwers on both of these teams.
Maybe a little too early in the day for a prop bet, Kelsey, but I got to ask, who do you think has more assists in this game, Gelfand or Philippek? I mean, those are going to be the two primary distributors for their teams.
Right now, just based off of what I'd seen, I'd leave Gelfand, but that's a tough proposition.
I don't give you easy ones. So.
No, where's the fun in that?
So 2-all. A manic feeling to the start of this day, not just this game, but all around the complex. At Wimbledon, the famous tennis tournament in London, they changed it a few years ago, but they were the only tournament that had what was called Manic Monday, because they took the middle Sunday of the event off, which meant that all 16 round of 16 matches in men's and women's tennis would be played on that Monday. It was an exhilarating day of tennis. They called it Manic Monday. There's no great alliteration to scintillating Saturday, not quite the same, but today is going to be an absolute roller coaster all across the complex.
I think there is this sense of, especially...
Anybody? So you are right here. Yep.
Arya Kishner shaken up, it appears.
Okay, come in.
We're coming in on stalling one. We are going to restart there with the check.
In on one. In on one.
Kishner reaching down at her left ankle, trying to get loose. There's a turnover. Opportunity for Superfly to retake the lead. This one floated near the sideline. A leaping snag for Annika Kwan. Playing in her first game in a long time. And Philippek makes the adjustment up the line. Philippek with her second assist. And Stanford's back on top as Siobhan Yip delivers the emphatic spike.
That's a tough one. Stanford did such a fantastic job of fighting back all the way. You know, turns and opportunities in that, the stoppages. Sometimes it can be really tough when your offensive flow gets just really broken up by those stoppages. Philippek's closing speed here on this front cone, though. And while I'm, as a coach, always a big fan of get off the sideline, get out of the corner, the patience, and I also love the discipline of stepping back and being available, not actively cutting, just waiting for her defender to forget she was there for a second for Philippek to hit the open throw.
What's really open is if we swing it across the field.
Early, swing it early.
Yeah, swing it fast before they have a chance to set it up. I have a question. For the forced middle, I don't know, I just think it's super. If it's somewhat in the middle and it's coming from the side,
As we eavesdrop on the Stanford huddle, Carleton all season long has been one of the top teams in the division. 22-4 overall. Their only losses coming against UBC, UNC, Colorado, and then again to British Columbia. Certainly one of the biggest surprises yesterday here at the Fields was British Columbia getting shocked by the 8-seed Tufts, the Universe Point thriller, in a game that was interrupted numerous times. But, you know, the road to nationals finals at Queen City and Northwest Challenge. Coming in third place with a win over Stanford at Santa Barbara. As you look over Lake Mendota.
Yeah, that UBC game versus Tufts, I was on the field pass for that portion, and it was a really gritty game. Tufts was playing, considering the circumstances, again, lots of wind, lots of rain, was doing a better job of executing when they were getting turns, opportunities. The defense for Tufts really won that game, but helped along by some really crucial holds by their offense. UBC just not looking in stride at all.
Carleton,
and that'll be something to see if they can turn it around.
It's not what they drew up during the timeout. Philippek. Was she in bounds? The observer rules her out. Immediately, Mia Beeman-Wemmer launches deep and intended for Gray, but Philippek smacks it down. And then Stanford gives it right back. Here's Tori Gray. She might be the fastest player in the entire women's division. Wonder if the mixtape folks are up really early in Seattle to watch Tori Gray play here at Nationals this morning. It is really early in Seattle right now.
Yeah, it is.
And they're dedicated, but it's really early.
If you're Khalif El-Salam, maybe it's with his early morning egg flip.
Maybe.
Watch a little Tori Gray with your breakfast.
I haven't checked Khalif's Insta stories this morning, but perhaps if he's up,
Did not affect his reception.
he's let everybody know.
His reception. Yeah, it did not affect. Hey, we got it, guys. So we're gonna.
Last point for Stanford, Kelsey mentioned Annika Kwan, her first point in a long time. She hadn't played all season long. She did not play in the game yesterday, kind of on a pitch limit because of a previous injury. As Carleton converts, Naomi Fina gets her first goal at 2024 College Nationals. And we are even 3-all after a 4-turnover point here in this first half. But Kwan, Fury practice player, another Seattle native, so certainly knows a lot of these Carleton players. And sloppiness, kind of the story. Was she in? I think the call was right. I think the knee was down out of bounds by the time she secured possession. Very, very close.
Yeah, very good effort from Kwan. Definitely a player to watch. Someone that we'll be excited to see more of. And Fina finally making a little noise for this Carleton team.
Shanti Shire picks up her first assist. Courtney Kiso calling the defense. We asked both coaching staffs, how does the new schedule impact your subbing patterns? Do you try to rely on your depth a little bit more? Usually, the games between the top two seeds in the pool, you see all the top players playing a ton of points. You know how valuable this game could be. You think, you can use your depth against the other teams. But I think the coaches are more so thinking about the possibility that pre-quarters might get nixed completely. So there's even more urgency to be in the top two in the pool so you don't get left out of the bracket.
Yeah, it just puts a completely different lens, just adds intensity to these pool play games, where ordinarily it's getting in your stride, feeling out the competition. If you're a middle seed, maybe being able to break to get into a better opportunity, or earning that berth if you're the top seed. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting day of some really good ultimate.
Yesterday we saw the two teams that were seeded 20th win their opening games. Binghamton over Santa Barbara in the women's division, and then Michigan taking down Vermont, semifinalist a year ago. Crossfield shot into the traffic. And Fisher-Lopez did not spot the poach.
Merritt was there on the D. Merritt is a brand new player for this Carleton team, freshman, athletic, and someone that Carleton is really excited to see and figure out where she fits into the mix.
After the quick turf, Harper Bear scores her second goal, and Stanford's back in front 4-3.
I tell you, Evan, Stanford sure feels like they're winning the energy battle here at this pool play game. They've been loud. They've been arms up, bodies up, even when they're, being broken, just still maintaining that energy. Feels like the momentum is on their side, even though the score doesn't necessarily reflect that much of a difference.
So quick attack off the turn, and Anna Fisher-Lopez throws it to Bear. Robin Davis, longtime leader of this Stanford program that has always been regarded as one of the smartest teams in the division, and it's not just because they go to Stanford. Although they did fulfill the stereotype yesterday. Guess where the Superfly squad went during some of their rain delays? Yeah, they went to the library, the local Verona library. They said it was very nice. They spent a lot of time there, but they did say that the Pitt men's team actually beat them there and secured access to the large conference room where they were watching film on the big screen. So, in the words of Robin Davis, the Pitt guys are even bigger nerds than us.
Yeah, the pre-planning really being shown by the Pitt team. They made the reservation a day in advance.
And that's something the program would do.
5 minutes away from the fields. We're not in the middle of nowhere, but we're definitely well outside of Madison. Beautiful complex, but know your resources.
Quick disc movement from Carleton. Floater downfield, Sydney Merrill. Back to Burris. Opal Burris is the daughter of Lou Burris, longtime Seattle player, coached the University of Oregon to multiple championships. He is technically on the coaching staff as an assistant, helping out, sideline support type role. Tons of knowledge and experience in managing this event, but I don't know Lou has ever coached 4 games in a day at college nationals. Beeman Weber unable to haul it in, and another break opportunity here for Stanford. The quick hook, Davy Ware beyond everybody. And Ware dishes off the fingertips of Rachel Litt. A golden break opportunity there, fumbled away.
I loved that immediate attack by Philippek. Just like that, Carleton's going to have to go the full 70 again. It's really effective and impactful. And if they get the short field turn here, just could be another kind of nail in the coffin for this first half that Stanford right now is winning on so many fronts.
As you watch this, Kelsey, are you thinking, oh, it's just game one for Carleton? Look, Stanford was 6-all in the first half of their first game against Penn, and then they go on a 9-1 run to close it out. Do you expect Carleton to shake off these early jitters, or do you see Stanford doing something to fluster Syzygy? There's Philippek, deep, swooping in for the block.
I think it's a really good question, and I'm of two minds. I think that Stanford looks so much more poised right now. I think a part of that is, their brains are already here. They're already set. They're at nationals physically, mentally. Carleton didn't have that luxury, and Stanford just looks so smooth right now.
Kiana Hu to Nicole Lambert, and it's 5-3 Superfly.
One of the things that Coach Courtney Kisto did tell me was that she doesn't feel like they've had really high highs or really low lows this season. There's just been this kind of low-level buzz, this buy-in from the entirety of the team. that she thinks has carried them through. And so it might be that like we're not seeing huge responses, but that Carleton's just going to work its way back in. Curious to see if that holds true.
Timeout on the field. Stanford fired up. It's a celebration timeout for Stanford. Of course, Shayla Harris is still tweaking the strategy, it looks like, on the mark. Had a chance to chat with Shayla before the tournament, known as Dozer. A double Stanford grad, undergrad and law school. And now Logan Weiss, a Carleton alum, trying to recalibrate for the Syzygy squad. Shayla said to me, as far as the season is concerned, the regular season results are what they are. But, you know, she said, quote, "We're in a typical Superfly narrative. Think we're going to peak at Nationals."
That's a nice place to be. And also just the rich history, knowing what that feels like, knowing what that can look like, and pacing yourself to reach that point.
I also think Superfly, you know, challenged itself, and the coaches challenged the players after regionals, where they only beat Santa Barbara by 1 in a sloppy 8-7 game in to wrap up Southwest D1 regionals. Of course, both teams had already qualified for nationals at that point. But the challenge from the Stanford leadership was the individual skills that you can develop between now and nationals will be invaluable. Basically saying our systems are good enough to get us there, but putting the onus on the players. We need you to be more consistent throws and catches.
Carleton, this point, crossing over Tori Gray from the defense, trying to make sure they lock in and get this point.
That was a must-score point. Gelfand catching the score this time as Carleton marches it down after Stanford's timeout.
And nice to see Aria Kishner back on that point as well. So Carleton getting all its pieces into play. Yeah, they needed that continuity. That looked wide open, really choosing their shots. And I like the attack from the legs of Gelfand really driving upfield, getting aggressive resets instead of going back for the more traditional reset.
Second assist for Shanti Shire. And the first turnover free point of the game brings Syzygy back within 1.
One of the things that I'll be really interested to see, both of these teams are so storied in their history, their systems. They have really strong identities. And one of the challenges that I think is unique when you have teams with such well-identified systems is, can you get them out of their game? And I think Stanford did a really good job that first couple of points of dictating play, dictating and taking away some of Carleton's options and making them play a little bit outside of their rhythms and systems. Be curious to see if Carleton can return the favor.
Well, this Carleton team has a different mindset than a year ago. You know, they were somewhat in Stanford's shoes last year as a 2 seed that had been close with the best teams but hadn't beaten the best teams. Mia Beeman-Weber before Nationals saying that this year's Syzygy squad has beaten the best teams. They know that they can compete with anybody in this division, and that creates a different level of expectations entering the tournament. That throw, though, intercepted by Chagall Gelfand.
Yeah, Bear gave the early release point. That was a well-pressured zone look from Carleton. But now can they get some energy? Their handle set is really disconnected from their cutters. I love this look from Stanford, the turn and the immediate transition to a zone look.
Typical Stanford. They're always doing things to try to flummox the opposing offense. They morph back and forth between one defense to another very quickly. Good disc movement from Syzygy. Tori Gray leading the way. Gelfand still out there as well. Clara Gale for Samantha Merritt. Merritt gets it back from Fisher. And now Gray pointing and finding Audrey Parrott.
Gelfand's a big frame, but I like this matchup with Bear of almost being neutralized by that height in that middle space.
Merritt plays catch with Fisher. Quick give and go. More difficult pass when Gelfand was open underneath, but around the defender Fisher Lopez to Kishner instead. And now back to Gelfand, and she'll scuba her across. You can feel Carleton gradually gaining confidence. A saucy possession from Syzygy, and Carleton converts. It's a break to tie this thing up 5-all.
That was a really good-looking offensive flow. The pressure from Stanford really slowing Carleton down at first, but working through, using legs, using the soft spaces. Really good swings back and across the field. But the freshman, Merritt, with the flick to open that up down the sideline, that was part of what punched it through. They're near the end zone. So yeah, I think just seeing the impact that Gelfand, but really just the depth of this Carleton team. I believe every single player on the line touched the disc at that point.
Gelfand now with 2 goals and 2 assists. And you're absolutely right about that. I mean, some of the decisions were not the easiest choice.
I would agree with that.
But they all worked out. Now Mia Beeman-Weber rips a backhand pull.
The pulls have really been exceptional this game.
And that one caught just right next to the goal line. Nearly a 70-yard backhand from Beeman-Weber.
Evan, pulls are something that I call it a pet peeve, but also something I get really excited about when they're executed well. It can just set a team up for so much success.
Tori Gray shows the speed, swats it down for Carleton.
We hadn't really seen Tori Gray in open space, and that is exactly where you see that closing speed and athleticism of Gray.
A break here for Carleton would get this game back on serve, but the throw behind Beeman-Weber. Quickly launched the other way into a crowd, and it's a Stanford score. Dora McCotter-Hewlett brings it down, and Stanford able to hold and retake the 6-5 lead.
McCotter-Hewlett was in a crowd. Carleton did a fantastic job of getting bodies on, swarming help defense to the area. Another look at that fantastic D from Tori Gray. Carleton had some options, but Stanford able to pressure, not getting the shots they wanted, and then just airing this one out. Another look at this catch from McCotter Gray, just over the top.
Showing it off.
Yeah, if I'm Carleton, they found the player, but I'm also almost wanting them to body up a little bit more. Create some physical pressure there. You can make it more challenging without getting into foul territory.
Some interesting scores from around the division. There are 14 games going on right now. Tufts leads UCSD 6-5. Tufts, of course, coming off their win over UBC yesterday.
Yeah, they're on fire.
Coming up at 10:15, we got the best game in Pool B, Vermont, Colorado. I'm looking forward to going to watch some of that.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game.
North Carolina Pleiades finally getting to take the field. They're up 5-1 on Binghamton. Santa Barbara, after losing to Binghamton yesterday, a 6-4 lead on Santa Cruz. UNC Oregon 4-5 matchup also coming up at 10:15 here local time in the women's division. So usually they stagger the games between the 1 seed and the 2 seed in the pools to kind of create the fan experience. This year everything's going to be smushed together in a way that's just going to create chaos. And there's a tremendous block swooping in there for Stanford, Siobhan Yip. And an immediate huck. Mia Beeman-Weber is the tallest player deep, and Mia takes care of it.
That almost felt like an adjustment from Carleton of, okay, if we turn the disc, send someone deep immediately, we know Philippek's going to huck it. Let's just be there, anticipate, and be ready.
Huck the other way from Fina. She immediately claimed responsibility, said my bad, but quickly turned right back over as Kiana Hu could not corral the under. So 4 quick turns on this point. Matches the most turns we've seen in a point so far in this game.
Yeah, it's been very clean ultimate up to this point. I think more than anything,
deflected by Philippek. She didn't get it all, but she got enough to prevent Shire from having a play.
Yeah, I thought Shire was going to be there for the second effort. I think a big part has been defensive counterattacks capitalizing when they get opportunities. We haven't had a lot of these multi-turn just because people have been scoring. We've had several breaks.
Philippek basically going every other. Great vision, even better execution. Walker Keller was dangerously close to the sideline there. Not sure she realized it, and then she turfs the reset looking for Yip.
Yeah, frustrating play for Walker Keller, but someone that the Stanford team is really excited to see. We'll definitely be looking to highlight her on some big plays. Brand new to Ultimate, but an athlete and the kind of height that as a coach you just love to have.
Stanford has a track record of pulling in soccer players, lacrosse players, basketball players, and making them into ultimate stars. Philippek with another block in the deep space.
Philippek is just owning the end zone right now.
Officially, that's her 5th block of the half to go along with a couple assists. Another deep shot. And that one ripped down by Gelfand. So this has become the marathon point of the match so far. Davy Weir the deflection, and Stanford will take over possession with a much shorter field.
If I'm Carleton and I get the possession back, I'm actually considering a timeout. It's just become too chaotic.
They're not getting it back, Kelsey. Philippek with a low backhand, never more than a couple feet off the ground, but perfectly placed to the front corner. And Nicole Lambert has her 3rd goal. Stanford has its 4th break. Superfly leads 7-5.
What a dominant performance from Philippek at that point. Had not only 1, but 2 goals. Yes, a turn from Philippek, but then that assist for the score. This Stanford team is just firing on all cylinders. I know they can do it cleaner, but again, winning the energy game. They feel like they are making their own momentum up to now, a point from half, and they've proven they can break this Carleton team. If I'm Stanford, I'm in the hunt for the break. I'd strongly consider loading up a line and just seeing if you can take a couple of those key crossovers and just put this half away.
Well, everyone on Stanford is given a nickname after they make the team, and it's the upperclassmen, the returners, that decide the nicknames for the freshmen. When Esther Philippek was a freshman, she got the nickname Neo, and that tells you exactly what they expected from Esther. Her freshman year, they'd be yelling, "Bend the matrix." And with her throws, she's able to do that. She reshapes the field.
Yeah. Now, when you saw that early on in that point, airing out the 2 big hucks and so on, then on the 3rd or 4th rotation, she faked a big huck, the Carleton defense immediately responded, pushing deep in coverage, and that opened up a really deep chunk under that they were just able to then punch across. That wasn't the point they scored, but again, reshaping the field, exactly as you were saying, Evan.
Here's a look at the current standings. Again, 4 teams were unable to play yesterday. Colorado State, Michigan, Carleton, and UNC, the 3-time defending champs. So those are the 4 teams that all have 4 games on the schedule today. And thankfully, the weather report looks clear for today. Tomorrow, a different story, but we'll cross our fingers and enjoy the present.
Yeah, not the numbers that we're used to seeing for day 2 of college nationals.
Usually every team plays 2 games a day in the first 2, and then pre-quarters happens on Saturday afternoon, leading into quarters early Sunday morning. Not sure what USAU is going to do. If the weather was going to be good tomorrow, you could envision, all right, you do pre-quarters in the morning, then you do quarters midday, and then maybe you condense the semis. You do the 2 women's semis one round and the 2 men's semis the next round instead of having 4 separate rounds of semis. That would enable you to maintain pre-quarters. But if the weather doesn't cooperate, then you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I'm not sure what you decide. Beeman Weber's shot easily swatted away.
Yeah, Parrott saved an early look. But I think Beeman Weber there with the high stall count and just electing to send it downfield. A little bit of stagnation from this Carleton offense.
Volbrecht swings for Yip. No Philippek this point for Superfly. She's getting a breather.
She's only played the last 4 points.
It would be a strong statement if Stanford could march the full 70 without Philippek on the field.
I have really loved that. There's been several teams, Oregon, one of them yesterday, the men's game versus NC State, who when they were in that half or game position, give some air for the observer.
Back to where you were at the time of the throw, please. Okay, we're all set.
Back to where you were.
So you wanted to hear the observer. We make it loud and clear.
Okay, are you ready?
I think you're being kind, Evan.
Okay, so that's going to be the 3-2-1 disc in check. Wait for the check to start. Go ahead.
On 8.
24 different observers here overseeing games here at Nationals. They're going to be even busier today than normal, too. Stanford's huck, though, goes awry, sails out of bounds. Beeman Weber will pick up.
Yeah, so Evan, back to my point, there were several teams, and I'm referencing that Oregon-North Carolina game where Oregon put out its D-line, no crossovers, and just let them take care of business. And they were able to get critical breaks, and it just pumped up the team that much more.
Tori Gray, like a honing radar, fires it to the end zone for Audrey Parrott, and the Carleton score.
That was a bullet from Gray. Parrott has been a great target downfield for this Carleton team, though. Gray's shots, just the control and speed which she's able to execute them. We saw that hammer earlier on. Look at the edge on this. Just tucks in, doesn't hang. Defense doesn't have a chance. She puts that up with any amount of float, and Stanford can get there.
Officially, that's Tori Gray's first assist. It feels like she has been involved when good things have happened for Syzygy.
A little bit of wave from Tori Gray there for the camera, but yeah, definitely an energy maker, playmaker for this Carleton team. They're going to need it. They're down technically just by 1. But so far, Stanford's been able to do a good job of holding. They've got Philippek back out there for this O-line.
And they're down by 1, but they're down by 2 breaks.
Exactly.
Because Stanford, if they can hold here, they're going to receive the next 2 pulls. Stanford broke on the opening point to start the game. So Superfly will receive to start the second half. An opportunity to hold here and go on a little double score run. A couple holds could make it a 9-6 game. Of course, Philippek is back out there. Tori Gray hustles down, prevents the initial look, but Stanford able to get it to Philippek anyway. And then Harper Bear up the line, but it fades away.
That's a tough throw. I love the big gainer by Bear, and then the lefty flick down the line. Just a little bit more edge, and that would have been just a knife to the heart for this Carleton team. Instead, Carleton will get pretty good field position and a chance to respond.
And not the greatest execution from Bear, but I think the Stanford coaches will be okay with that choice. Shayla Harris, former Superfly player, now on the staff, told me before Nationals she wants to see Harper Bear be less risk-averse. Former U20 player, she says she does such a great job taking care of the disc. We want her to take more chances. So hopefully that error won't change her mindset. But an opportunity here for Carleton to tie this thing up.
Yeah, Stanford doing a really good job right now of compressing the field. Carleton finally able to break through, finding these soft spaces. Tori Gray was roaming the deep space, but so far it's the handlers that are really making the motion.
An impressive march from this Carleton line, and we're even again, 7-all.
That was the freshman Merritt again on that assist. Really impressed by the play of that young Carleton.
Quick little dish, Merritt to Parrott.
Say that 10 times fast.
I'd rather not. So Stanford will have a second chance to hold here to take half. Logan Weiss wanting to focus on stopping unders downfield more. I understand that. It's also dangerous when Philippek has the disc because she can go over the top if you're biting too hard on the under.
I mean, could be a strategy you set one person. More advantageous when you're seeing a horizontal stack or a split stack of you can put the outside defender back a little bit in the space and otherwise really commit to taking away unders. It is interesting, though, because when I was listening to the Carleton coaches talking earlier before the start of the game, how do you want to start? Are you feeling you want to hold? Are you feeling you want to go for a break? And the Carleton players very much had an aggressive mindset going into this game of wanting to be in the hunt for a break. If they got the flip, wanting to go for defense first.
Superfly slicing and dicing this Carleton defense so far this possession, but the great handler defense from Tori Gray on Esther Philippek wins possession for Syzygy.
I like that matchup.
Carleton gives it right back. Beeman Weber looking for Burris.
A tremendous effort from Burris, but just not quite there.
Volbrecht with a stall count rising just throws up a punt to the end zone. Beeman Weber in position to win that battle every time.
I like how effective Gray was in that handler space, taking Philippek out, but will it have the same effect on the turn?
Tori Gray rips a forehand deep. Parrott. There was some contact. Not sure Parrott had the greatest read. But coming back for the disc, there was some contact on the play.
I think Parrott actually adjusted based off of the defender's positioning versus
Wait.
the actual line of the disc.
I think they rolled no foul.
Yeah.
Observer having a long chat here with Parrott and McCotter Hewlett, but we will play on.
Evan, I've heard some varied opinions about the increased tendency of players to defer to the observer versus resolving things on the field. I know from a production streaming perspective, it's really nice to have an observer there keeping pace of play.
Naomi Fina did not have the size advantage on Harper Bear, but she wins the deep battle anyway.
But yeah, do you have any thoughts on the matter of do you like that players go more to the observer? Or do you want to see them hash it out and learn the discourse themselves?
I honestly don't care. I just want it to be done quickly. and I don't say that to be a jerk, but we're putting on a product for the world. And we want to showcase our product and not showcase our conflict resolution over the course of tea and crumpets. 8-7 Carleton as Syzygy takes it half. And look, I fully respect folks that disagree with me, but you ask me what I think, and I tell you what I think.
No, and I've seen people come down on both sides. Big response there from Carleton. Evan, did you expect them to take half? It really felt like Stanford was in the driver's seat.
Well, sure did. I mean, that's back-to-back breaks for Syzygy to take it to half. And I do think we're seeing Carleton settle in a little bit. And we're going to chat with Robin Davis here.
I think more to your point, Evan, you asked me the question earlier, do I think this was just jitters? Jitters are, exactly that. Were we going to see a resurgence? Were we going to see a new face of Carleton just like Stanford did yesterday in their game against Penn? And I think that's part of your answer.
Joined now by the Stanford coach. Coach, a fantastic start for you in this game, then a couple breaks to take it to half. What are your big picture thoughts on what it is going to take to win this game?
I think we just need to calm down a little bit. We've just taken a few deep shots that we don't really need. I think we're just getting excited. We're in the moment, and everyone's fired up. We've been playing well, and then we're just a little too eager on those hucks. So we'll just rein it in a little bit and play our game again.
Yeah, are you happy, though, with the aggressiveness of your players in terms of the looks that they are looking for? And they're, especially, it seems like they're winning a lot of these races with their legs.
Yeah. I mean, right. I think they're maybe a little too aggressive on the hucks. So we're going to, like I said, rein that one back in. But, yeah, I mean, they're working hard and they're using their legs to get open. So that's what we want to keep focusing on.
Robin, we saw Annika Kwan on the field. Yeah. She made a difference. She's had a long journey back from injury. What's your strategy in using her, knowing that she can be a weapon for you throughout the day and the weekend?
I mean, we are so happy to have Annika back. She's like a major force on her team, and we've really missed her all season. And she's been like doing every possible thing she could do to get back to action. And she went out there and made some nice plays. And I'm going to use her judiciously to keep her going for the whole weekend.
All right. This is better than the library, right?
Yes, way better than the library.
Robin, thanks for your time. Good luck in the second half.
All right, thank you.
Stanford Superfly coach Robin Davis working with Shayla Harris and Jenny Lummis. And Superfly, the 6th seed, had a 7-5 lead. But it's Syzygy that takes it to half. Technically, we are on serve in this second game for Stanford. The first game of the tournament for Carleton here in Madison. Big first half for Chagall Gelfand. 2 goals, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. Meanwhile, Esther Filipek, 3 assists with 5 blocks in the deep space. And Carleton has an 8-7 lead at half.
Yeah, Carleton will get what...
Check. I don't know if you can hear me now. I'm not hearing anything from Aiden if he's talking right now. Or if anybody's talking.
Yeah, I got nothing there. That's what I was asking, if were we laying out there, or did you have time to come back to me?
Well, it looked like with the...
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Hi. So
Yes. At least we can hear Aiden now. Thanks, Aiden.
Despite the fact that we couldn't hear you, it's a pretty good half. Halftime here in round one of a very busy Saturday in Madison. And the former Madison College star, Courtney Kiso, now coaching Carleton, joins us. Carleton leading 8-7 at half. Courtney, a weird day, a weird weekend. Your team did not get to take the field yesterday. How long do you feel like it took your team to feel comfortable out there and get kind of the game one jitters out of the way?
I think it took a few points. Certainly, we were so ready to play yesterday, sitting around in our uniforms waiting to go. So I think taking the field now, we had lots of energy, and that resulted in a few extra turnovers. But I think we're in it now.
Yeah, Courtney, are you pleased with how your team responded, had those breaks from Stanford, and it did feel like y'all made a really focused effort to reinvest into your energy, keep energy high? Is that part of what you would see as the identity of this team?
Totally. Yeah, we know we can grind. We've been down before. We've come back before. It's not a new place for us. So, yeah, I think we just have a lot of self-confidence. So hoping to carry that through this next half. But there always are first game jitters, so we're not too worried about it.
What are the keys against this Stanford team? How do you slow down Philippek and ultimately win this game and put yourselves on the trajectory that you want today?
Totally. Well, as a team, we talked about kind of trying to shut down up lines a little bit more, get some good matchups, and potentially see if we can get them to move the disc more laterally, not so vertically, excuse me.
Courtney, we appreciate your perspective. Looks like you're wanted in the huddle. We'll let you go. Thank you very much for your time. Courtney Kiso and Logan Weiss was charging over to say, we need you, Courtney. Here's a look at the game stats. Each team with exactly 18 turns in the half. We are on serve. More break chances for Superfly, but ultimately 4 breaks per side. And Superfly will receive to start the second half, looking to tie this up.
Interesting, the low number of clean holds from teams that both have very potent offenses. But I think the ability to earn the disc back for both of these offensive teams very strong. Yeah, high number of turnovers for these teams with only one half in the books. Something I know they'll both be wanting to clean up, but a very good test for them first thing today. This is going to be some of the toughest competition that both of them will see, at least until they get deeper into bracket play.
Well, Esther Philippek has made a lot of good things happen for Stanford. Heard Robin Davis say maybe we're taking a couple of hucks that we don't need to take. Certainly in those last couple of points, they were just kind of getting the disc and launching. Like they didn't want to turn it on the goal line, but we've seen them work at the length of the field. We've seen this is not just a one-trick pony with a Stanford team. They've got a lot of different players that can move the disc well beyond Philippek. Esther was a high school basketball star in Arkansas and has become one of Stanford's best players ever since she was nicknamed Neo after she made the team.
Point guard in basketball, Evan?
You think?
Got that kind of quick movement.
And vision?
Yep. Ability to orchestrate play. I could see that.
Deflected but kept alive by Hawkins near the sideline. By the way, Kelsey, sorry about your Timberwolves last night. That was tough.
Oh, rub it in, Evan.
I'm saying I'm sorry. Great block in the end zone, but off the fingertips of McKinley Smith on the second effort.
Yeah, Timberwolves looked like they had a comfortable lead and then just not quite able to eke it out. Hopefully not seeing the same from some of my favorites here at this tournament this weekend. We'll see.
Philippek looking for McKinley Smith. Gale chasing, but unable to catch Sage McGinley-Smith.
Oh, that time it'll go. That second attempt looking much, much cleaner for the Stanford team. Loved the big effort and pressure from Aria Kishner, though. If she heats up, she's someone who can really have an impact. Just the depth of this team we've talked about. I would argue both of these teams, but the Carleton team in particular just has such a wide range of players that can have an impact on the game and really change the landscape. And they get one or two of these players heating up. Stanford's going to have to put even more energy out and respond. They are looking like a little bit lower energy. Get another look at that big air out from Tori Gray. Bear able to just eat it up. The defensive the defensive efforts in the deep space from both these teams has been really on point this game.
Excellent vision from Philippek and perfect placement over the top for McGinley-Smith to run it down. Philippek will remain on the field for this deep point. What's the next step for Philippek, perhaps? Well, she's going to be coached by Maddie Sang this summer and fall. She's going to be on the Fury roster this upcoming club season.
That'll be something I'm looking forward to. You'll see me at a lot of these Triple Crown events with Ulti World, so that's part of why I wanted the D3 and D1 Nationals this year, Evan. Just I wanted to see the future of Ultimate.
Beeman Weber looking long, and Gelfand denied by a soaring Philippek in the end zone.
God, what an effort. Philippek, not even a tithe of the height of Gelfand.
Giving up 5-6 inches there and winning the battle, beating her to the spot. Remarkable stuff.
I'm building a pretty heavy fangirl crush of Philippek through the course of this game.
Oh, goodness. Off Davy Weir's hands. She can't believe it. Hopefully, this is just a bruised ego and not anything more serious.
Yeah, I think just an awkward landing. We'll see if she's able to get up. Yeah, another look there. You see just the effort trying to keep it in bounds. That was into the sun, too.
Yesterday, the sun was not a problem, Kelsey.
No, there was no sun yesterday.
All good?
None in sight.
Okay, we just wait. Oh, it's roll over here. Yeah. And then defensive.
So we're still getting looked at over there.
Okay. Yeah. Whenever you're ready.
Just going over the syzygy on the Super 5 turnover.
We're tied 8-all. Each team has 4 breaks. Each team has 4 holds. Each team has 19 turnovers, although that was the that's the 19th turn of the game for Stanford. So Carleton will retake possession as they do the ground tap. Georgia Walker Kelleher, former basketball player. You can see that with her size. Now marking Mia Beeman Weber.
That's a fun matchup. Little height on height action there.
My goodness, that was batted forward almost like it was intentional toward Gelfand. Gelfand calls a foul on Gates.
Lambert was the one with the D there. Already seen the impact of having Lambert back into play for this Stanford team.
Are they going to send it back, or are they going to go to the observers is really the question here. And what will the observer rule? It looks like we're getting ready to send it back. And to revert back to your question in the first half, this is just what, as a sport, we need to avoid. Because we got a great game going on, and we don't want more of this. We only have 26 minutes until soft cap. We want to see it decided on the field. Rounds are limited from a time standpoint, and we just want to see the action.
It really affects pace.
Beeman Weber. Too much pace, not enough float. Stanford with another opportunity to retake the lead.
I liked that look, the cut and route run by Shearer, but yeah, the Beeman Weber one just not quite there. Stanford's counterattack, though, has been a real threat all game.
Not the right angle on that reset from Yip.
Yeah, short field turn is not the way they drew it up.
Burris to the end zone, and Naomi Fina scores again for Syzygy. The 3 seed in the women's division back in front 9-8.
Fina again making plays when needed, but I really loved the line, the edge of that throw from Burris. Had it been a flat, straight throw, Philippek would have been all over it. Getting another look at this shot that just didn't go from Beeman Weber. The turn that gave Carleton another option, and then look, watch this shot. Look at the curve on that throw, just outside of the fingertips. Philippek doesn't have a play. Fina with the little dance celly, looking to pick up the energy for the Syzygy team. They're up 1, and they need to keep things going. They really want a little bit more separation because they know how good the Stanford team is.
Not the only tight game going on right now in the women's division. Tufts and UC San Diego are 10-all in the second half. Tufts coming off the win over the top seed British Columbia. Don't want to give that result back immediately to start day 2. UBC's off this round. They'll take on Colorado State at 10:15. North Carolina all over Binghamton. Jolie Krebs can only do so much against Pleiades, and it's 11-3 UNC in the second half of that one.
Yeah, we saw a lot of what people are calling the Krebs cycle of just every other or by just sheer weight of personality clearing the path and field for her teammates. But if you're able to take her out of play, a lot tougher for Sydney Binghamton.
Deep shot. McGinley Smith is there.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I liked the across the grain. Technically a same third throw, but the almost butterfly edge, super shallow, not quite deserving of the term butterfly cut, but able to switch sides, attack it, also thrown so the sun is not a play, easy to track down.
First assist of the day for Dora McCotter Hewlett. Her nickname on the team is Buffy. So in moments like that, they just say, "Slay, Buffy, slay."
So good. I'm going to wave my nerd flag. I'm a huge Joss Whedon fan. Watched maybe too many episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There's some good female empowerment there.
Okay. So we're 22 minutes shy of the soft cap. It'll go on at the bottom of the hour. And when it does, finish the point, add one to the higher score, and that's where we're going. It feels like this game's going to go down to the wire. It's hard to imagine one team breaking away. Although we have seen a bunch of breaks for a side.
But not so much here in the second half.
No. 3 straight holds. Carleton had the chances to go up when we were tied 8-all. See if they can create another opportunity here at 9-all.
Remember, Carleton coaches talked about that just low-level, steady energy, the pressure that they felt they were able to put on, but also the execution. They've been able to respond, but did that take, more out of them than they really wanted?
Beeman Weber swings for Kishner. Here's Gelfand. Chagall Gelfand, just a freshman. Her first college nationals game. 9-all against Stanford.
Seen a lot of these 4 or 5 person cups, especially at D3 this past weekend, but very popular in the college scene right now.
Up the line, Philippek was ready for it, and the throw's out of bounds anyway.
Yeah, they're only really good at separating the handle set from the cutters, but only as effective until you can get around them. Doesn't help you, though, if you send a shot down the line and Philippek's there to scoop it up.
Philippek rips it long. Georgia Walker Kelleher unable to fully unleash the horizontal bid.
I get the feeling from the effort there of like the wanted there, but just the execution not quite. By next season, may be able to make that bid.
Yep. You can see the seeds of an incredible ultimate athlete.
As a coach, that's maybe take advantage of a wet practice and just turn it into a layout drill.
Sounds like fun.
If it's not at nationals.
That's right. Beeman Weber, again, using the size to see over the defense. Crossfield shot, Opal Burris tumbling down, hangs on. 10-9 Syzygy.
Again, I'm going to just harp on the depth of this Carleton team because I feel like there are 4 or 5 separate players that we could highlight as having really good performances this game. We're not just talking about 1 or 2. We've seen Burris, we've seen Gray, we're seeing Gelfand make incredible plays. Kishner's had some really good efforts. Beeman Weber's had shots that have just opened up. Who do you guard? Who do you lock down on when there's always someone else stepping up and able to make a play?
Gelfand to Burris. 2 young, talented players.
So, he's still good on 1, Ava? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, sure.
See who's on the line for Superfly. The Stanford program, obviously no stranger to nationals. They've won 5 championships this century. Carleton's won 1.
5, Evan. 5. Holy cow. You think about the dominance of the women's program Fury as well. Think about Pipeline going into that.
Intercepted by Gray.
But just the honing, too, of these young players through an incredible program like Fury. The ability to get that extra experience, bring it back to the college scene, execute and perform.
On this Carleton team, look, they've been in the mix, semis, quarters, often. Made the final back in 2013 when we were here in Madison. But Carleton Syzygy has not won the national title since the year 2000.
I think it is a pick.
When they beat Wilmington in Boise. Stanford's last title coming 2016 in Raleigh. That was a tournament, the last college nationals, where weather was a significant factor.
Not quite as much as this one. I think this one will go down in the books as maybe the most challenging to date.
You say that now, but we might be here around midnight Monday night finishing these finals up. I hope not, but who knows? Be careful. The weather gods like to play tricks with us.
Anyone out there on Instagram, you can find me KP Points. I'll be posting some pretty spectacular pictures of the just absurd line of clouds that came through yesterday. My mother's a science teacher. I sent her the picture, and she's like, oh, and gave me the specific name of that cloud.
Oh, yeah, the cumulonimbus radon cloud.
It's like...
Intercepted in the end zone as Parrott just threw it behind the intended target. And that's a huge turnover with Carleton looking to go up by 2 for the first time.
I sent her those pictures. She said, you're undercover, right? Those are tornado breeders. And I went, oh, I'm headed that way. Don't worry.
Yeah, there was an Independence Day feel to yesterday at times with the clouds taking over the sky, but nothing but blue sky here this morning. With Kelsey Percy, Evan Lepler, the entire Ulti-World production team, it is going to be a long, riveting day of Frisbee. And Carleton another chance here to go up by 2.
I think all of us have that pent-up energy from yesterday, just excited to be here, welcoming the long play if it means we get to see more ultimate.
Dropped by Gale.
Just a blink in the focus.
And Sage McGinley-Smith doing what she does. 10-all.
The threat of this counterattack from Stanford. They have been just able to punch it in. I've loved the illustration of ultimate games against really competitive teams as body shots. With the boxing reference of just, you're in it. You have to be able to take a shot, give one back. And these strikes, these are so effective. This is, an uppercut that's just going to stun you for a while.
Another SMS message here from Sage McGinley-Smith. Clock continues to tick down. Less than 14 minutes from the soft cap. And the outcome of this still very much in doubt. Crazy schedules ahead for both teams. Both play at 10:15. Carleton against Utah. Stanford has Washington. Carleton has games today at 8 a.m., 10:15 a.m., 1 p.m., and 5:30.
That's a long day.
Stanford has 3 straight rounds with an 8, a 10:15. I should say they get the 1 o'clock round off. There are 5 rounds today.
Yeah, interesting in this first game. Both teams really wanting to get settled in, find their rhythm, set themselves up for a good day. But with the game being so tight, if either team were a little bit more in control, they might be thinking about conserving a small smidge of energy to roll into their next game.
Well, I was going to ask you, Kelsey. I mean, you've had your coaching hat on many times. I'm not sure with circumstances quite like this, but put on your coaching hat now. How do you balance we need our best players on the field versus we got 3 or 4 games to play today, and they're all potentially important?
Yeah, that's a really tough call. And I think if you're this Carleton team, maybe you've got a little bit more luxury. Your next game up is against Utah, the 19 seed. But it's so crucial. We talked about really only needing to be in that top 2. So if you're concerned about any of your other games, you kind of have to duke this one out and then just hope you can recover in the next round.
I do think across both divisions, we're going to see some teams run real ragged early in the day and then look like they're on fumes. Beeman Weber already celebrating with her hands, with their hands in the air, but the shot popped up at the last moment and it's incomplete.
I think Gelfand didn't realize the heat that was on that throw. You saw the backpedaling. Could have made a play if the read had gone a little bit different, but instead, sails overhead, doesn't even get a finger on it.
Out of bounds, though. Stanford gives it right back. Unforced turn from Superfly.
And you're seeing some of the systems in play for this Carleton team. The unhesitating clearing, making space, being really disciplined in their red zone, making sure they're not pinned on the sideline, executing their end zone defense.
4th assist for Chagall Gelfand. And Carleton converts. 11 minutes till soft cap, an 11-10 game here in Pool C.
It wasn't pretty, but Carleton got done what they needed to. Again, they've got to wrap this up. Time now becomes as much of a factor, almost a third competitor on the field. They have to fight the clock just as much as they fight Stanford.
It was strange because Beeman Weber launched the throw and then started celebrating almost immediately. Gelfand was open, but just misread it.
So we had, Evan, a little bit of gusting, not really consistent. It was sort of a cross-field wind early on, but I wonder as temperatures are rising.
There's a flag to our right that is not doing very much at all.
Yeah, and I wonder if players just haven't quite adjusted throws, but yeah, Beeman Weber very happy with how that was released, and then just Gelfand, again, not quite synced up. Thankfully, Carleton able to put it away regardless, but you don't want to give opportunities to this Stanford team. They have just proven so capable on the counterattack.
One of the reasons we love this game is because we're relying on the whims of 175 grams of plastic, and it can do some funky things, and that's cool, but it is also creepy in situations where you want it to do one thing and you expect it to do one thing, and it chooses to pop another way.
Ain't that the truth? Gorgeous set play from Stanford. Opens the field wide up.
That was clinical.
Too easy.
Superfly marches it down the field, and Hawkins punt spikes it to culminate the 11-all equalizer.
Now the space they opened up for McCotter Hewlett, just tons of yardage. Beeman Weber had the matchup there, maybe got caught up in traffic, but I loved also the speed of the handlers of getting up to McCotter Hewitt.
Take us through the point, Kelsey.
Yeah, look at this. So they open the field wide up by aggressively clearing out of that middle space. They're able to keep the disc really, really centered, and then they've got just exactly the throw they want. Bayer with the lefty has the perfect angle to get around the defense and mark. It's just such beautiful offense. Again, watch this lefty. Perfect edge, exactly who you want taking that shot. I wouldn't be surprised if they drew up that exact flow all the way through.
Another assist for Harper Bayer, the North Carolina product. In the men's division at 10:15 Central, the 4-5 game, Mama Bird and Slow. Colorado, one of those teams that did not get to take the field yesterday. Cal Poly Slow with a convincing win in their first game of the weekend.
Evan, you say convincing, I say crushing. They looked completely dominant out there in that game.
Got off to a great start. Let the engines a little bit light in the second half. 15-9 was the final against Penn State.
I think at that point, though, they were just running open lines and letting their depth get some nationals. Nationals experience is so valuable for these younger players.
No question. Carleton shot to an open target, but too far for Fina. Chance for Stanford here. Who knows how many more opportunities they'll have to break. And if you want to beat the 3 seed, you cannot have a break chance that ends like that. Chagall Gelfand put Syzygy back up 1.
Siobhan Yip was right there in Gelfand's back pocket. But the flip across the line, just the short field is so dangerous. No chance. And that was not the Stanford counterattack that we've seen up to this point. Carleton, again, kind of winning the energy here, the focus, got their legs going again immediately as soon as the disc was turned, punching in for the score. Yeah, just the overshot to Fina. I think if that's not so casual backhand, I think if she goes for the flick instead, or even, fakes Fina out and looks for on the 7 cut on that front cone, it's less of an away shot.
For folks who don't know, what do you mean by the 7 cut?
Absolutely, Evan. So one of the challenges is Fina was making that upline cut, but it was a pretty awkward angle. Fina's back was really too because of how aggressively she was going up line. So a 7 cut is if Fina cuts towards the cone and then reverses. So you've made that diagonal line, reverses and makes a horizontal cut, creating the shape of a 7. And it makes an inside flick available, or a soft lefty backhand, instead of that really awkward, tough to catch angle to the narrow space of the front cone.
Critical possession here for Stanford. And a careless drop in the middle of the field. Just through the hands of Fisher-Lopez. Can Carleton capitalize? Syzygy has not ever had a multi-goal lead in this game. And that will not change on that throw. Intercepted by McCotter-Hewlett. Philippek launching to midfield. McGinley Smith wide open. Gelfand retreating to the deep spot. So plenty of space. Trying to get it to McCotter-Hewlett. Good handler defense from Carleton. Fisher-Lopez up the line. Hawkins hauls it in.
That's a tough one. So first Stanford in the previous point not valuing their counterattack opportunity. And now Carleton. It just feels like they're a little eager to put this game away. Both teams needing to take a calming breath. Good defensive pressure, exactly as you said, Evan. They're making the work really hard. Both of these have really powerful handle sets and players. Something that's been phenomenal, though, is the defensive pressure of McCotter-Hewlett and her ability to come down with discs when it matters.
Third assist for Anna Fisher-Lopez. And the second goal of the half for Hawkins. She scored the last 2 goals for Superfly. 12 all.
See McCotter-Hewlett there contributing energy with her voice, where previously she contributed energy in making that big play.
Logan Weiss trying to will this Carleton O-line to a comfortable conversion. Logan's been coaching this team for 12 years. He says he's never coached a player taller than Mia Beeman-Weber. Mia's dad is 6'2". Mia's mom is 5'11". Mia's 6'3", but Mia's uncle is 6'8", so that's where the height comes from in the family. Opal Burris, quick dish, gets it back, swings it. Beeman-Weber, little freestyle, and continue. Gelfand. Burris. 12 all. 2 minutes away from the Cat. Here in the first game of a crazy day of Ultimate at College Nationals, with 64 games total on the schedule to hopefully wrap up pool play. Tori Gray lands in the end zone, and the observers rule that she is in the end zone. Carleton back on top by 1.
2 observations. One, Carleton's ability to drive into the end zone with their legs, using that really chiseling forward momentum. You get another look at it here. just keeping the disc moving so quickly, using their legs to really drive forward and gaining yards there. I also really liked Stanford's choice to stay in that almost poach zone-y look, making it really difficult. Yes, they didn't latch on to players, but I almost like that it's kind of high risk, high reward in the red zone. But it creates such opportunity for getting D's in that space when you're able to just compress in and make that handler movement so difficult.
Just the second turnover-free hold of the game for Syzygy, and it comes at a huge time. And a timeout taken, which is basically going to take us to the soft cap, so it'll go on after this point. Well, today is a gorgeous day here at the Redden Soccer Park, and the coverage you're going to get from Multiworld today is unlike anything that happened when Kelsey and I were in college. So we hope that you will support this production work and this coverage of our sport by purchasing an Multiworld subscription. You can do that very easily and very inexpensively at multiworld.com/subscribe.
Yeah, Evan, I remember my sophomore year of college, I was playing for WashU, going to Webster University. Didn't have a team to play for to speak of. And then WashU made nationals. First time in the program history. And I couldn't play. And I remember just waiting eagerly for, emails from the team for whatever publications were coming out. I didn't know what was happening, and it drove me absolutely insane.
And what year was this?
Oy, Evan. This would have been... Oh, Lord, 08, 09, spring of 09.
Certainly different here in 2024, a decade and a half later. Critical possession here for Stanford. Philippek connecting downfield with Hawkins. If Stanford scores, it's going to be Universe point, 13 all game to 14. If Carleton scores, it'll still be a game to 15, but we got Universe, Kelsey. Philippek with a fist pump. Volbrecht with her first goal of the game. Universe here on the showcase field to start Saturday at College Nationals.
Philippek gesturing, signaling, chose that shot, called for that space, tosses the assist, and then reels in the score. Volbrecht is their Callahan nominee for this for the Stanford team. Former Defensive Player of the Year, first runner-up for, I believe, the region as well. Not someone that we've talked a lot about in this game particularly, I think just because of the phenomenal play from other players, but definitely a player that will be impactful down the long run. Yeah, love that celebration, the come on, reel it in from Stanford. And for Stanford, yes, they're on defensive position, but they're also high energy. And they've proven that they can go get these breaks. If you're Carleton, you get a chance to hold, you get the disc, you get a chance to put this game away. But if you're Stanford, I think you like your chances just as well.
Cannot ask for more than this as a fan of this game. The 3-seed Carleton set to receive on Universe, the 6-seed Stanford, 5 times a champion this century, looking to break and win.
And then that air shot, you see the sidelines, arms up, big body motion, loud voices. We're getting a crowd here at this game as other matches have wrapped up early.
Nervy bobble there from Shire, but able to hang on. Beeman Weber swings it, and Gelfand stole what was intended for Gray. And the pass behind Beeman Weber, but what a catch! Mia Beeman Weber making the adjustment, using every inch of the 6'3" frame, and perhaps getting shaken up in the process.
Yeah, that was a heroic effort. Offhand grab, think maybe just landing a little awkwardly there.
In the first half, we saw breaks aplenty. 15 total points. We saw 8 breaks. In the second half, we have seen nothing but holds. We are on serve, but because Stanford got broken twice at the end of the first half, they're now in a position of needing to break to win. The team that gets to half first gets that half break, and that end of first half surge for Carleton could be the difference if they can convert here. Gelfand shoots it. Gray is open. Tori Gray with the defense closing. Davy Ware got there for Stanford.
We're making the huge play. We're earning the opportunity, and now it's Filipek that picks it up. Filipek has aired it out so many times. We'll get the big under first.
Sage McGinley-Smith marked by Shire. Stall count rising. Reset for Hu. Kiana Hu looking for Filipek. Not much of a window, but gets there and then shooting it. An air ball. McGinley-Smith surrounded by white jerseys, and it's Chagall Gelfand smacking it down for Carleton. The plot thickens here on the showcase field. Timeout Syzygy. Universe point to start this manic Saturday at College Nationals.
Love that call by Syzygy. What a chaos point. Had the shot on D. I think if it doesn't hang, Tori Gray had yards, but just needed to go out in front and instead hangs up. Incredible effort from Weir. Earning the opportunity. Syzygy now has it back, but I think there was just that frantic energy, that kind of manic piece that we had talked about earlier on. Really veteran move by Gelfand here to calm things down, resettle them. It's almost as if the earlier point hasn't happened at all.
They'll be picking up the disc, initiating just a couple yards beyond the goal line. They got about 67 yards, let's say, to go. The fan bases for both squads out here supporting and hoping.
One of the interesting wrinkles, though, of course, with Beam and Weber taking that injury point, one of their primary handles, Parrott coming in. Parrott, though, is a cutter, so going to be in that downfield space. Doesn't change huge things for this Carleton team, but not maybe as potent as the number of players that initially took the line.
When that Stanford Huck was in the air, did you expect McGinley-Smith to come up with it against 3 defenders? Because I honestly kind of did. I was a little surprised that she didn't, but Gelfand showing her full game. Deep Huck launch from Shire into double coverage, and Stanford will earn the disc back.
And there's the D from Volbrecht. Volbrecht, who we said had been a little quiet, but is a playmaker, someone they can count on, and someone who can just seal up that deep space. Fina's been super valuable, but is not going to win the matchup against the much taller Volbrecht.
Macy Volbrecht connecting with Nicole Lambert. Gelfand bouncing on the mark. Universe point. The top 2 seeds in Pool C. Tough angled throw, Harper Bear.
Fina locked up Filipek. Really good defensive pressure there.
Filipek now shoots it to the end zone. Stanford wins. Sage McGinley-Smith from Esther Filipek. And Superfly upsets Syzygy.
What an incredible effort. You see the celebration there, the body language from Carleton. They were there. They had the shots. They had the opportunities. This is, I think, just a really good forecast of what we can expect to see further on in this bracket play, Evan. Remember, for Carleton, this is their first pool play game. Did it feel like it? That felt like a bracket game to me.
Oh, who knows? Maybe these teams will see each other again tomorrow or Monday, depending on how things shake out.
I'm leaning Monday at this point.
But it's a break to win for Superfly. Philippek to McGinley Smith. A powerful closing SMS message for Stanford Superfly. 5 for 20 on break chances, but their first break of the second half ultimately is the difference. And Stanford, the story of the early morning here on Saturday in Madison.
Truly, upset over a really deep, strong Carleton team. If I'm Carleton, one of the things I'm taking away, the total turnovers, the opportunities, Stanford just creating break chance after break chance, really punishing. And maybe we talked about the aggression. Coach saying, liking the Philippek looks deep, but maybe wanting to dial them back. But did that also fatigue that Carleton O-line? Carleton almost crossing over more of their players there at the end.
Esther Philippek was walking over to do an interview, and then she got called back for a team photo. Respect the team photo. I got no issues with that. We'll get Esther in just a moment. What a day it is going to be, and this was a phenomenal and exhilarating way to begin with Stanford Superfly. How many years have we seen the best of Stanford at Nationals? They sometimes have up and down seasons. Look, don't get me wrong, we've also seen them steamroll through seasons as well as the favorite, but Stanford victorious, and Esther Philippek joins us now. Esther, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
After yesterday and just the feeling of waiting and wondering, what did it feel like to get out there under the sun and play a game of that high quality against an opponent like Carleton?
Yeah, no, it was amazing. Yesterday was 10 hours to play a single game. So honestly, our team, we've been having to make stops here and there, but we were so excited to come out here today because yesterday was crazy, but we were fired up. So we brought that on today, and we wanted to take the first game and crush, and I think we did that. So, yeah, we put a lot of work into it, so yay. Yeah.
Yeah, Esther, how does it feel to have carved this up against Carleton nonetheless? What a great start to your day.
Yeah, I'm super excited because, for the past 2 years, we've always lost to Carleton. So we were ready to change the script a little bit there. Yeah.
Esther, when you're on the line on Universe Point, knowing you need to break to win, what were you saying to your team? What was the vibe?
I don't know. Just that we need to believe in each other and score. Yeah.
Well, you did that. I guess when you see Sage going deep, there's not much hesitation in your mind throughout your career.
No, she's fast. So I just not got to put it up.
Well, your first shot to her that point into triple coverage didn't work.
Oh, yeah, no, that one didn't work. That was not a good choice, but, yeah.
After beating Carleton and starting the pool play 2-0, have your expectations for this weekend kind of been elevated a little bit?
Yeah, but I have, high expectations. I have, huge trust in our team. So, I'm glad we did what we did. But, yeah, I think it definitely helps to elevate it. But I think our energy level was already up.
All right. Hope you can keep the energy up all day. Esther, thanks for your time. Best of luck the rest of the day in the tournament. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Esther Philippek, the point guard of the Superfly attack. And Stanford takes down Carleton on Universe to begin 5 rounds of frenetic Frisbee here at College Nationals. Hopefully every game on the showcase field is as exciting and close as this one.
Yeah, that was exhilarating. Looks like one team in the lead and then a good response. Both teams so skilled on the counterattack. We had big plays. We had, incredible, clean, ultimate, good defensive pressure and strategies. Just such an exciting game.
All righty, about half an hour from now, Colorado and Cal Poly Slow. Get your Ulti-World subscriptions to watch. For our entire crew and my partner Kelsey Percy, Evan Lepler saying so long for now. Stanford wins at College Nationals over Carleton.